My name's Ethan Stone. I'm a high-level Splatoon speedrunner with over 6,000 hours across the series and a decade of experience. Today, I'm going to rank every gadget in Splatoon Raiders. I'm ranking them based off how good their core fundamental abilities are. With how much freedom and creativity Raiders has with its builds, I feel like this is the only way I can actively do this. So I won't be considering upgrades, weapons, or relics in this ranking. But also, every gadget in this game can be good with the right build, so don't feel discouraged when one of your favorites is rated lower. Alright, everybody happy? Let's start this. This is the Blast Boost. It launches you forward a small distance with an explosion once you land. This is a phenomenal gadget. When in a pinch, you can quickly use this to reposition. You can also get some quick damage on a boss before you kill it. It also has great use cases in the regular levels as it can be used across some gaps you previously couldn't. I like using the combo of the robot bounce plus a blast boost to do some crazy skips. This is one of the best gadgets in the game, A+. This is the Splat Chit. You dash forward and do a ton of damage. Like the Blast Boost, this is a great all-around gadget that you'll never not want to have. It does a lot of damage to bosses like steelheads and scrappers, as well as being used as a small mid-air dash. I'll give it an A-. This is the Shot Pot. It's a little turret. As you'll see in the rest of this video, gadgets that barely restrict access to your main weapon are really strong. You can leave the Shot Pot down and it'll put in a lot of work while you're focused on doing other things. I feel like every tactics build should use this. A solid A tier. The dash bomb quickly moves your character in the direction that you hold while doing a small explosion. This got overlooked a lot during the build up to the game's release, but I actually think it's one of the best gadgets in the game. It's a great panic option and can be comboed with both your main weapon and other gadgets. It's not the most flashy, but it's insanely useful. I'll give it an A. This is the Spin Wheel, basically a powered up curling bomb. Curling Bomb was always one of the best mobility tools in the last Splatoon game, so having one that does great damage is big. It can be used as a panic button as well since it has a giant blast radius upon activation. Pro tip though, I'd recommend not using the auto trigger on hit upgrade. I constantly found myself in situations where I'd want to use the spin wheel, but since it was automatically used, it was on cooldown. Overall, I'd give this gadget a solid B ranking. With the bomb balloons, you send out a little bomb in front of you that can connect to other bomb balloons. After shooting them, they'll do a big explosion. This gadget has a very high skill ceiling. You have to place each balloon perfectly to get value, but when you do, you often kill multiple bosses at once. However, I don't know how good it is compared to a simpler gadget. I'm not going to give the bomb balloons a rating, we'll genuinely have to see how good people get at them. The Booyarang throws a small projectile that lingers around for a short period of time before returning to the player. Maybe I haven't tested this out enough, but this didn't feel that strong. Compared to other speed gadgets, it doesn't have the utility needed to stick around. While yes, you could send it out to beat some lessers or do damage to a boss, its DPS isn't good enough to beat out something like a dash bomb, which you can use more often. Maybe once you fully max this thing out, it becomes broken, but right now, I'm giving it a C ranking. Once activating the splatter lights, they will surround the player and do damage to nearby enemies. This gadget seems very strong. A problem some gadgets have is that they take away your main weapon for a short amount of time, and sometimes that's all the difference. Having a gadget like this where it takes some of the burden off you to kill lesser seminids and paint your feet is extremely good. I'll give it an A-. Hey, I just wanted to pop in here and ask you to subscribe. There's so much Raiders content coming up in the future and I'm so excited to show you all of it. A sub now is one of the best bangs for your buck that you can get at the minute, so if you do subscribe, I'd be very happy. Okay, on to the rest of the video. This one might upset a few people. This is the High Fiver. It shoots out 5 angle shooters that will do damage over time to enemies that pass through them. I know a lot of people are fans of this because it's haha funny angle shooter and there are some creative moments you could do with them by bouncing them off the wall, but I feel like it's a more complicated, less powerful shot pot. I didn't really feel like I was getting much value out of them during my time playing around with them. I'll give them a C ranking. This is the Tether Whale. You set down a beacon, then by walking away from it, a killer whale beam connects you and does damage to enemies caught in between. This is another situational gadget. Like all of the gadgets in the tactics tank, there's a high skill ceiling to this one. It is nice that it's quick to set up and can pierce enemies, so I can see the potential, so I'll give it a B rank. This is the Meteor Mitt. It's basically just a mini splashdown. This is going to be your competition with the Splatchit for the best big damage dealing power tank gadget. While with the Meteor Mitt you have a good panic button, I feel like the utility of the Splatchit can outclass this gadget in a lot of ways. I'm sure with the right upgrades the Meteor Mitt can be strong, but for right now I just think it's a worse Splatchit. I'm giving it a ranking of C+. The jump bomb does what you think it does. It lets you jump. In the dungeons, I didn't see much of a use case with this, as the utility of jumping high doesn't really help out there. In the platforming levels, this plus another movement gadget go insane. There was so many times during my playthrough where I found little shortcuts to beat the levels faster. That means this will be very good in speedruns, but that's probably not what most people will be doing. I'll give this a B ranking. With the Flywire, you become Spider-Man and can grapple to walls. I feel like this is a slightly worse version of the Dash Bomb. Both are the big mobility gadgets for the speed tank. Dash Bomb is slightly faster and does more damage. This goes into the same camp of the Jump Bomb as really good in the platforming levels, not so good in the dungeons. You also just need to click a button to activate it, and you don't need to aim like with the Flywire. There's this clip that's been going around Twitter showing off some of its utility, and it's pretty impressive. Editor, show it here, it's pretty cool. But I feel like your preference between the Flywire and Dash Bomb will be personal preference. I like the Dash Bomb better, so I'll give this a B-. This is the Shell Lacquer. After charging him up for a bit, you can shoot out a mini Booyah Bomb. Now, in previous games, Booyah Bomb has been one of the best specials in the game, but one of its perks was that it had invincibility while charging up. With the Shell Lacquer, you kinda have the opposite. You have to spend a few seconds charging up while vulnerable. You can use it from a distance to start fights, but at that point, other gadgets can do it better and have more use cases. I also just don't like gadgets that take away the use of your main weapon for a bit. I would love to be proven wrong, but right now, I think this is the worst gadget in the game. D rank. And last but not least, we have the Torque Screw. You throw it down on the ground and it spawns an area effect hitbox that does more damage the closer enemies are to the center. I was pleasantly surprised with this gadget. If you play your cards right and lure enemies into it, the gadget can pull its weight and do a lot of damage. It might be a bit blasphemous to say this, but I'm not scared. This is just a better version of the High Fiver. I would like if you could use it to updraft into the air like with the attacks from the Salivator, but there's probably an upgrade for that. I'm giving this a ranking of B+. And there are all of my thoughts on every gadget in Splatoon Raiders. Which gadget is your favorite, and if I overhyped or underestimated some of them? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.